marketing teams are gonna hate me for this, but I built a system that I post on 6 different platforms and I don't open a single one of them. So I'm gonna walk you through this system, this full content automation pipeline that I put together. I'm gonna show you the A to Z, what it looks like from the beginning all the way to everything being posted automatically, and then the nuances in between that I built in the system. So I'm going to show you this full breakdown right now, starting with section 1, the content source. So the content source, once you, like I'm doing right now, filming a long form piece of content, I'm doing it right now through OBS. So I recently changed to OBS. I know I have here record in Descript, but I realized that once I take the content out and I throw it into what the next product is, which is Opus, to get the clips, that the 9:16 and the 16:9 recording was off. So like the measurements and how it was coming off was a little off. So we found that with OBS you can do 2 separate recordings at the same time with 2 different frame sizes. So that's what we're currently doing, and this is going to get updated as I go through it. Before I was doing it in Descript, as if you watched the last video on the processes, I'm learning as I go, just like I'm showing you along the way. So that screen share is going. After we finish here, we go ahead and drop it into Descript, which I'm going to do afterwards, to do the filling, removing the filler words, which I'll do that automatically, tighten everything in the narrative, remove any dead spaces, any little edits that I'm going to do here and there, I'm still going to get done on Descript, and add the highlights and all that good stuff. So once we get to tighten the narrative flow, remove any dead spaces, anything that's going to go on, we're going to add those bold yellow highlight captions, because I know I went in deep in the last video showing you what buttons to touch, but this is the full breakdown just so you can get the overview of it without having to scroll back in and out of different apps. So I think this is a very good view. I'm using here Excalidraw. If you've never used it, I actually got on it recently, asked Claude to walk me through the process. It built me some out, and this one that you're watching right now, and it's very good if you're a visual learner, as am I like to look at things aside from just empty files, markdown files and everything on text. I like to see the vision of things. I like the pictures of it, so I'm using Excalidraw now for a lot of my build outs, just so I can get the feel for what it is that we're putting together. And then the 2 export rule. The first export rule is I'm going to do one with captions. So that's what I'm going to be doing with the long form video. Once I post it to YouTube, we're going to do the thumbnail for it, the nice little thumbnail. It's going to go on it with ideogram plus Canva. You can go that route, or you can do the VidIQ, which I showed in the previous video as well. Whichever one suits you best. You have 2 options to go with. And then we're going to go ahead and queue the X post with thumbnail, attaching the thumbnail image to the post. Basically, as more content, as I start repurposing and posting on multiple platforms, a lot of the content that I'm going to be doing throughout the day, whether I record it or whether it comes to mind on the spot, is going to get repurposed to all these different platforms, just so I have a full constant stream running, since I'm posting pretty much every hour, hour and a half, depending on the platform. So the other export path is going to be the shorts extraction. That's going to be on Opus. So once I finish here, we'll go take the video, drop it into Opus. I'll make sure that once you get on there, turn the auto hook on. Clip length, I leave it on 60 to 90 seconds, just because that is usually the sweet spot when it comes to the short times. You can also try including that 30-second time frame, just because sometimes the attention span's a little shorter for some individuals. So you can test between those, see what the feedback is from your community, and then I approve them manually. I'll take a look that I like what was cut out in between them, and then I'll do the bulk download and then proceed to what the next step is, which is the distribution hub. It's where the magic is made. So it took me quite a bit of time to put this together, a lot of man hours behind the screen, but once it's done, getting bugs and things here and there, watching things break, you start to bulletproof the system, which is what I did. And every day it's getting bulletproof. Little things are breaking here and there, and that's why every time I upload a new video here, I have new updates for things that broke, things I fixed. So the current big update from the last video to now, which hasn't been that much time, but huge update, is I've added Instagram, I've added Threads, and I've added TikTok. So previously those were platforms that were a lot harder to get into just because of the developer accounts, like Instagram through Meta. Well, that process was a little heftier because you had to have a business, they need to verify URLs. It's a whole back end process that had to occur. And same thing with TikTok, because I'm currently on, you can only operate within the sandbox until you get verified, and then you can go, and basically means you can just post to private in this automation, and it won't let you post public. So obviously that defeats our purpose. We want to get out to the public. So currently on the back end waiting for that to get approved, but that system is already built out as well, and it's fully operational. We're just waiting for that thumbs up for TikTok. Everything else is already set up and ready to go. And pretty much the distribution to the 6 platforms, as you know, it's going to be YouTube Shorts. All these .pys that you see there are just Python scripts running on my computer that are getting queued and running automatically in the background. So quick tip for you, if you're going to be running this type of system, make sure that you put the caffeinated mode on your Mac or whatever computer. If you, I don't know if Windows has that option, but Mac does, where you put the caffeinated version, and basically the system will continue to run on the back end as long as you don't shut the lid and completely turn off the computer. It'll continue to run and shoot off these crons, because the crons is what's running off in the background, and it's doing these every 30 minutes and checking if something needs to get posted, or it's every hour, or whatever you have it set to. So what you're going to need here, YouTube Data API, make sure you have that version 3, and then you have here obviously my accounts. That's what I have, so that was like my visual, so I know what accounts are on which. I've got live on TC Architecture, same thing with Twitter. So you've got a 6-day cap on new channels. So down here I'm gonna have variables that I want to be looking out for, and the system is looking out for, just so I know when I build this out for a client, things and hiccups and potholes that I want to avoid. So like 4-hour spacing is currently where I'm at with the Twitter launched cron every 30 minutes. This is the API via Tweepy that's running on the back end to make sure those Twitter posts go through. An interesting thing with Instagram Reels. So as I was setting that up yesterday, I came across more hiccups than I would have liked, but we got through and it's currently working, which is great. So the Instagram Reels, they can't post like the YouTube Shorts can, where it takes the file straight from your desktop. It needs to get uploaded to, it could be any of like the 3 or 4, many clouds that are out there, but I decided to use Google Cloud Storage just because it's the cheapest and still does the same job, and I'm already operating within Google anyway, like Google Sheets and under the APIs, so it was a lot easier. So we did upload to Google Cloud Storage. Once it's there, it grabs it directly, and then it does the Python script, goes through the API that we were able to grab through the Instagram once we did the whole Meta business thing, and then it goes live on my Instagram, which is Christian Cruz. And then the public video URL is required, 100 a day, everything good, set up. TikTok, still waiting for that. Like I told you, the back end is a little more complicated from what I've seen, waiting for the team to approve it. We had a denial, now we're getting back into it. We had to appeal it with certain information that was missing, and now we're getting to it. But the posting API is working perfectly, just on private for now until we can go public. A very big note to have, because the content will start to come out in higher megabytes as if you make more, content with bigger size files. And I noticed that one of the files we were going to put in was over 64, and it came back with an error because it was like 71 or something. So I have the system automatically check, it'll have it on in its memory, that if it's over 64, it will automatically compress the file, not too much where you lose complete quality in the video and it just looks like pixelated and crap, but it'll compress it enough for you to actually be able to upload it. So that's another hiccup we ran across, and the direct file upload does work for TikTok as opposed to the Instagram. And then lastly, Threads. That Threads is going to be obviously this is all through Python scripts running off my computer, and then they have their own API that we were able to access, and in the same spot that we accessed the Instagram one, since they run hand in hand, and that one's live as well. And another big thing to note with Threads is that they have a 500 character max. So that was big, because since I'm repurposing the content between X and LinkedIn, those texts, the system didn't know at the beginning, so it would post the same content on it, but it would be missing like half the copy. So then you're like, man, what happened here? And you realize that that's that. So you need to put something in there where it checks automatically before posting, like, hey, I need to revise this for threads specifically so that the 500 characters actually fit inside of the box that's allotted there. So then we get down to section 4, which is the queue system. The main queue runner Python script is launched every 30 minutes, which is going to go through each one of these and see who is up, who needs to get posted, who is up next, what video, like, do we need to grab it from the cloud. All of the above is going to get ran through in the queue system. The same queue that posts the X is going to post the threads. As you see here, it's going under the same queue fire, so it doesn't need to fire differently. That's why you don't see it here on an extra tab. That's why the JSON is attached to the thread. Then you've got LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, and then the main manifest, which is going to be for YouTube Shorts, Shorts Manager, Python. And then lastly, you've got tracking. And this together, I'm going to be putting something else, to something like a dashboard for analytics, which I'm sure you'll see in the videos in the future when I start putting this together in the background, which is once you have all of these platforms, and I saw it today, there's a couple things you run into, which is analytics and tracking, a very big concept when it comes to having access to all this information and doing so much at the same time. You have to start realizing like what's working, what isn't. So a good place to start analyzing is, one, track what it is that you're doing. It's good to have everything, like, this is all for myself, I'm telling you, but it's like I'm telling myself as a reminder. Track what it is you're doing in a place where you can see it. Not only that you have full faith that the back end system is going to run everything for you, and you hope, fingers crossed, everything goes great. You want to also have a good visual. That's why I got jumped on with the so the Google Sheets sync, I have it running a cron as well every 30 minutes, checking through. Once it's made these posts, I want it to go through with the Excel and the Google Sheet that I put together. I actually showed it in the last video as well. It looks something like this. I'm not going to go through it again, but like the LinkedIn queue, what that looks like, the post preview, the video queue that I just started, which hasn't started posting yet, and then TikTok, which I told you I'm waiting for. This was the test run that we did on the private, and then the Instagram queue that's already done, as you see the second post today at 10:45. So I like having all those things in one place just so I see what's upcoming, what's next, and I'm not guessing like, oh, I thought it was supposed to post 30 minutes ago. I thought it was supposed to do this. So that's why I like the organizational. And as far as the analytics goes, to jump back into that, I want to put together a system. I have it there on my list to build out because I think it's great when it comes to analytics, where you can look at a big dashboard that takes all of these platforms together, and it'll measure, I have it here, everything written down. It'll measure impressions, likes, comments, views, interactions, followers, new subs, overall trend growth, everything that you would want to see at a content creator or somebody trying to grow their socials, or a business owner trying to see if you're out there getting more reach, like if the output that you're doing is actually bringing you back what you're looking for. So we have that full breakdown here for the Google Sheets link, which is automatically going to get updated, and then the tools that I use. And then you're going to have Descript, which I'm paying $24 a month, Opus Clip $29, 2 cents a month when it comes to Google Cloud Storage. That's what I was getting at. It was the cheapest. There's others out there, obviously, that are charging $15, $20, $30, even more, depending on the storage, but Google Cloud does the job for me, and 2 cents I'm not going to complain about. So all the APIs are free tier. I'm not paying any extra for APIs. So I'm at $53 a month for all the 6 platform automation. So if you weigh that against any marketing company that's telling you, hey, yeah, we're going to post on all your social medias, you just have to pay us X amount a month, I'm sure either if you're one of those companies or you're a client that they've reached out to, you've heard those price ranges. And as this wave continues to go up and I continue to build these for client after client, I'm sure you'll start to see the value that all of this provides. So you're recording, one recording like this, like a long form I'm doing now, is going to produce just about 30 shorts, which they're going to put on 6 platforms. So that's 180 pieces of content, auto distributed, 0 manual. After I say, hey, all the content's good to go, the initial 30 pieces, it's going to go out there and do the distributing for me. So I think that it's all very great pieces that you can add to your repertoire. I don't think this is the end all be all, but it definitely does solve some constraints and bottlenecks that you may have only posting once a day because you don't have the time to be on that phone the whole time, or I'm not really good with tech, so I don't want to jump on the computer and start posting and what should I put for the captions and the metadata and all that, and what is metadata. And this is all stuff I learned obviously not so long ago, but I have the system running on the back end that when it does these descriptions, when it does these titles, the system is running it on the back end already for me, and I don't have to do that second guessing of, oh, is this good enough? It isn't. It's already running it based off of previous analytics, seeing what works, what doesn't, checking the metadata on its own, and then putting these hashtags, putting these descriptions the way that I would like them based off of my preferences. So I kept it, I think, relatively short today. It was a quick walkthrough. I'm going to continue dropping these as we continue to put out different products for different clients. I'm working on voice agents in the background for a real estate company. I'm doing this now for content distributors, content creators, and we're going to continue going down in different categories and different niches and service-based businesses, all of the above. So if you liked all of the information we went through today, if you have any questions, if you're doing it a specific way that's better than mine, feel free to drop it in the comments. I would love to hear about it. I would love to go through it, as I'm learning every day myself, and I'm improving, as you see from the last video to now. A lot more improvements in the system. So thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.